Hi and welcome to week one. We're trying to get in this week an overview of what spiritual formation, the process of growing in spiritual maturity, really is. We'll be looking at this book, which I think is quite a good overview of spiritual formation for cross-cultural workers, godly servants. It's worth getting a hold of on Kindle or some other means. It's not a big book, and we'll begin with that, and pretty much every week there'll be a reading from that. We'll look at Mulholland's, the beginning of Mulholland's book on the roadmap, the nature of spiritual formation. I think he does a really good job of overviewing spiritual formation, the process, God's role, our role, what it actually is. And then a little bit from Dallas Willard, who I think does a really good job especially in his book Renovation of the Heart. I think he's really got a handle on spiritual formation, not just understanding it, but continuing to grow in his own spiritual life. We'll be reflecting on that, just what strikes you basically from those readings, anything new, anything different, any help to you in just understanding the spiritual formation as a process. And then a little bit from Scott Sundquist, who, by the way, has written a wonderful book called Understanding Christian Mission, I think. Just a few minute video on him talking about the relationship between mission and spiritual formation. I know in my life there have been times, my family and I were 15 years overseas, Middle East, Bulgaria, and finally a few years in the UK, and there are times when I can think of some real highs of joys, things you see God at work. Sitting is like sitting. Sometimes we were involved in the beginnings of a people movement to Christ among thousands of folk, Muslims, in Bulgaria, and that was a very exciting time of almost sitting down and watching God doing His work. Yes, having been given a role in that, which was wonderful, a little part to play. Other times where I felt really spiritually dry, and long times like that, where I didn't think I was growing at all. Other times when I was really longing for God and, putting in some new disciplines in my life, taking a day out a month to listen to God. Those are they were just sometimes really hard times when, like, what are you saying, Lord? I can't hear anything. And other times really being met by God and felt I was meeting God and growing through the process and through the challenges we'll talk about those later, of intercultural ministry. Anyway, you know all about this stuff. You're doing it. So there you go. Bit of that. There's a quite long article, quite a good one, I think, by Kenneth Birding, talking about the intersection between spiritual formation and mission. Worth at least skimming through, and you might go back to that later in future weeks because it's got some really good stuff. Maybe you can use it in your assignment. I don't know. And then a couple of kind of creative activities where you get to diagram how you see the relationship between spiritual formation and mission. And then finally, charting your own kind of journey of growth in Christ. So some of the fast growth spurts, the stagnating times, the how God has led you along, what He's used, people, processes, events in the process of your spiritual journey, and somehow you make a diagram of that. That'll be fun. So quite a few things to do this week. I hope you have a lovely time. God bless you.